welcome back to Boots and Bunny Homestead. We're back in Casey's kitchen today. This is our second video to doing our peaches. If you caught our live, we were juicing them that night. So you should have already seen that video on us making peach juice or peach nectar. So we did not get through with all of the juice the other night. So I put the juice in a pitcher. And you can see here it's separated. I'm going to start taking this off. And that, if you've seen in our last video, is going to be that pulp that we have left that I talked about, doing something with. So I'm going to make peach butter with this. And I've actually done 2 batches already. This will be my 3rd one. So I'm going to take you guys along with me and show you how I use the rest of this peach pulp that came from the peach juice. Now the peach juice, so far I've gotten 7 pints, and I'm taking the rest of this pulp off so I can finish doing the rest of my juice. So it's kind of hand in hand in getting all this done. So what we need, and I'm going by the Ball Book recipe, and I'm skipping the step of boiling the peaches and all that stuff since I've already got the pulp. I'm going to take 8 cups of the pulp and put it in my large glass measuring cup. And then you need 4 cups of water. Now, if you've seen in my last video with the juice, in the pulp here, after we got through blending it in a blender, I put lemon juice in here already. So there's enough lemon juice in there that it's fine. So I'm just going to measure out 8 cups of the pulp, and I'm just going to spoon it off the top of here. And then I've got to go get 4 cups of sugar, and then we will hop to the next step. So let me get this strained off real quick and I'll show you how I'm doing that. Alright. Let's see if I can get you over here where you can see. So you can see right here we've got 2 different colors. This is the pulp and this is the juice. And I'm just going to take my spoon or ladle and pull that pulp off. Show you what that looks like. And then I'm just going to start filling up my container over here, my measuring cup. So as long as you don't disturb, and that's actually frozen. So as long as you don't disturb the pulp, between the pulp and the juice, you'll be able just to skim it right off. Or just pick it up when it's frozen. These did sit in the refrigerator overnight. So I'm just taking it off and putting it in here. And I'm going to do that for 8 cups. Just do it real easy. So as you get closer to that line, you don't want to mix it back up. We want to keep as little juice out of this as possible because we won't have to cook it as long to cook that extra water off or the extra juice. Just get it down to where you feel pretty comfortable about the level that you've got it at. And then we can always strain it off through a strainer with a mesh cloth like we did with the juice. We can strain the rest of it off doing that. I've got a little bit left in this one I need to get out too. And this one kind of set back up after I pulled it off the first time with the last batch. Okay, let me show you right here. This right here, this little dark spot right here, that's juice. So you'll see as I move it, you start to see the juice right there, okay? So right there is where you're gonna stop. Lightly, just lightly skim off what you can that you're comfortable with getting. Just be real careful. And of course, if you get some juice, I mean, that's no big deal. You just have to cook it off. And you won't have as much juice for your actual peach juice if you make the peach juice. Now, you wouldn't be able to do this if you had like a juicer and did the juicer part of it for the peach juice, because your pulp would be too dry. So I think this is an excellent way to get 2 recipes out of one processing. You get 2 recipes. And y'all know me by now. I like to use every bit of the plant. Get as much off of it as I can. I think I've just about done that with this. I've got 8 cups as well. Alright, so there is our 8 cups. Now next I have to go in here into my pantry and get 4 cups of sugar, and I'll meet you back at the stove. Okay, so this is already dirty because I've been doing these batches already. But this is another pot from Sam's. I don't know what the brand of it is. It may be the same brand. This is a Kelphalon. And this is almost like a stainless steel Dutch oven. It's got a really thick bottom on it, double walled bottom, so it won't burn. You want to make sure you've got a thick bottomed pan in order to do any kind of jams or jellies or anything like that, because it will burn if the bottom's too thin. So we're going to take our 8 cups of pulp and go ahead and pour it in here. And this is my favorite pot to do all of my jams and jellies and stuff in, because it cooks so evenly. Okay, and then we've got our 4 cups of sugar we're going to pour in here. And this is what helps it to kind of gel, to thicken up, and also help it in the preservation method. Alright, so I'm going to take this out and get a whisk and stir this up. Now we're going to put this on medium high, and that's where we're going to bring it to a boil at. Okay, we don't cut this on high and bring it to a boil and then turn it down. We're going to cook it on like medium high. That way we can heat it slowly and evenly, and not in a hurry and burn the bottom, or it just explode and boil everywhere, you know. Because once it starts boiling, it'll start popping. So we need to make sure we do it slow and evenly, and that way it'll be more consistent in the end, and it'll just be smoother all around. You'll appreciate it more. Alright, so we got the sugar stirred up. Now this may take about 10 minutes to start boiling, but you're going to stir this every minute or so. You don't have to stand here just right on top of it. But as it's warming up, just make sure you stir it around, because it's going to start boiling in the vicinity of your eye, and the outside will still be cold. So that's why whenever you're stirring like your fruits and stuff, that it'll boil in the middle, and then you stir it and then it stops. And that's because it's not evenly heated. So we've got to make this evenly heated in order for it to get that gel effect. I'll bust up the ice in there. Alright, so we'll come back whenever this is heated up, and it's only going to cook to a slow boil. Once it comes to a boil, cut it down to medium, and just make sure you continuously stir it at least every 30 seconds after it starts boiling, because it will tend to stick if you don't keep it moving, because it'll gel on the bottom of the pan. And we're going to cook it probably about 10 minutes with that low boil going on. And in the meantime, we got to get jars ready. So we've got to get them washed and keep them warm, because this is hot liquid going into hot jars, going into a hot water bath, which is back there, by the way. You've got to get your hot water bath going. And I've got jars in there. You can see back there, I've got jars going. This is my first batch, that's my second batch, and this is my third batch. So we've got to get the water bath hot, our jars washed and kept hot, however you want to do that. You can leave them full with hot water, or you can stick them in a warm oven to keep them warm until you get ready to put your liquid in there. So I'm going to do that real quick and I'll bring you back in a sec. Also, in the meantime, while this is cooking and you got your jars ready, take a small glass saucer with a metal spoon, just a small little teaspoon, tablespoon, whatever, just a small, you know, regular spoon. Put it in the freezer and leave it in there for about 5 minutes or so until you get ready to test your butter. And I will show you how to test it and know when it's done. Okay, so go ahead and get a plate and a spoon and put it in the freezer. Alright, so real quick I'm going to show you how to test it. So I've got a saucer and a spoon. The first way you're going to test it is you're going to rub your spoon across the back. The back of your spoon across the jam there. And then if you can rub your finger down the middle and it stays there, see it stays there, then it's ready. The second way, oh that is so good. The second way is to get some on the spoon and drop it right there in the center. And then, I do not know if I'm going to be able to show you guys this. It's one of those things you just kind of have to be here to see. Around, there it is. See it? See that ring around where I put that on the plate? There's a ring out here. That means it's done. If it doesn't make that ring around the outside of it, it's not done. And see, it's pretty big. Okay, so I've got some jars here, and they're warm. I just poured the hot water out of it. Put your funnel on top, and then go ahead and ladle this straight into the jar. And again, you do not have to use pressure canning jars for this. Old mayonnaise jars, old jelly jars, whatever you got. As long as it's got a regular size or a wide mouth size top on it to where you can use your lids and rings, then you can use it. And see, this was actually an old jelly jar from another business, so I'm reusing it. And then Stephen's going to put the lid and the ring on, and put the ring on just a little bit tighter than you did last time.
Well, you always say finger tight.
Just because I don't want you to torque it down.
I don't know. Better?
Yep, that's better. Alright, so we're going to fill our jars up until our peach butter is gone. And then that'll be all she wrote for this round. And these go up to a 1/2 inch headspace. And Stephen is setting them in the water bath back there that we've had going with the rack in the bottom. And these are going to process for 10 minutes. Right at it, and a little bit left to stick on a biscuit. Yum. Alright, I'm just going to sit that in there, and then we will clean up in just a second. So the water in the water bath is already boiling, so we are going to go ahead and time it for 10 minutes, and then we'll just lift them out and set them back here with the other ones right there. We got our other ones right here. Cover it with a towel, and then they'll sit there and seal, and we'll be done. So we'll see you back in a sec. Alright guys, so we've got our last ones processing here, and I'm going to go ahead and show you what they look like when they're done. Kind of, they'll get a little bit darker. These don't have any of the seasonings in it. It's just plain peach pulp and sugar. And then once the tops of them up here seal, they'll pop down. You'll hear that pop. and then you can take your ring off. It won't be tight anymore. So you can just take your ring right off and let them cool. Or you can leave them on there until they get done cooling off overnight. Just set them back here, cover them up with a towel, and let them seal overnight, and then you can take the rings off and put them in storage. Alright guys, that's it for the peach butter. Now go back and see how we started this process with making the peach juice, resolving that pulp from making the peach juice, and then using that pulp to make this peach butter. Stick around, I'll have some more peach recipes coming up for you, and we will see you later. Bye guys.